I enjoyed this tweet, Stugotz, over the weekend from someone named Morgan Hughes, who said of Jim Harbaugh, and I know this is going to be a fun season for the Chargers, and I am truly awed by the dismount of Jim Harbaugh at Michigan, better than anything Simone Biles has ever done, because Morgan Hughes says this accurately. Harbaugh, 0-5 versus Ohio State, too cowardly to play the game in 2020, oversees program-wide cheating for 3 years, quits when NCAA finds out, most Michigan man to ever live. The Harbaugh reputation is pristine. Now, they made him 0-5 against Ohio State because he couldn't be coaching last year because of the aforementioned program-wide cheating. But the man jumping from a burning building as an undefeated champion as soon as he gets caught and landing in the pros with Justin Herbert as his quarterback, holy shit, what an escape hatch. Stugotz was crushing Harbaugh for 8 straight years about nothing, or I guess it would be 5 straight years or 6 straight years about doing nothing, accomplishing nothing at Michigan.
It is going to be interesting because they've lost all their wide receivers. Harbaugh is, one of those quarterback whisperers. He has the quarterback. The quarterback's injured right now. We'll see if he's back in time to start the regular season. That is going to be one of the fun, entertaining stories to cover throughout the NFL this year. I'm looking forward to see how that plays out because I don't think the Chargers are going to be very good.
Well, if Herbert's healthy,
right,
which he's not right now.
Yeah.
He's injured,
I
and
know.
he has to wear a walking boot.
Yeah.
Supposedly we'll be ready for the start of the season, but we'll see what happens.
It's a plantar fascia injury to Justin Herbert. Jim Harbaugh reportedly facing a level 1 infraction. Now, the NCAA, ironically, was an Ohio State head coach, Jim Tressel. He faced discipline at the next level in the NFL because of infractions that he committed on the NCAA level. So we'll see
Tony
if
doesn't remember that. Tony, was it 6 games that Tressel got? 4 games? 6 games?
Yeah, he and his sweater vest were up in the booth a little bit as an advisor for the Indianapolis Colts. Now, this is a far more serious job that Jim Harbaugh has, but he does have very recent experience watching someone else coach his team.
But how does that work with NCAA giving infractions that the NFL is like, oh, yeah, we're going to make sure that this happens?
It's actually the right move for we keep mentioning that the NFL has a free minor league system to be this safe harbor where you can commit all the infractions that you want with impunity, essentially, because there's always going to be a job waiting for you in the NFL. They're actually taking care of their partners there and saying that there is actually a punitive measure here for the coaches who have historically been above the law.
The Ohio State players were suspended 5 games, so Tressel said he also wanted to be suspended 5 games because he's Jim Tressel.
Well, not wanted to be. It was against his will.
Yeah, he was suspended in the NFL, and I believe that was at least the first mainstream example of someone being punished in the NFL for something that they did in the NCAA in terms of infractions going. So Jim Harbaugh, who's now being paid to coach Chargers games, it's possible that he could suffer some sort of discipline.
I am very eager, as someone who has been eye-testing Herbert since the beginning, to disentangle him from Keenan Allen and Mike Williams and see what that looks like. Because Mike Williams was hurt a lot, but when I saw the Chargers receivers, it felt to me every bit as good and dominant, capable as the Dolphin receivers, as the Bengals receivers, wherever it is that you find 2 guys. Now, Mike Williams didn't end up being that as a possession guy. He wasn't. He would get you often 2 or 3 catches a game. But those 2 human beings, you throw to them, you were throwing to basketball players. You were throwing to people who couldn't be guarded by people as small as cornerbacks. So
Both pretty tough guys that would tough it out over injuries, too. I think you could look at what's happened to the Chargers recently and said, if you have your questions about Herbert, his weapons weren't out there consistently, or when they were out there, they were pretty banged up. We'll see if Keenan Allen at this stage in his career can help out Caleb Williams.
But Dan is right about Mike Williams. It's just funny. Like, he's never had a game where he had 7 catches for 56 yards. It's either 3 catches for 120 yards and 2 touchdowns or no catches. There's no in between for Mike
well,
Williams.
No, it's
I'm
sometimes
telling you.
sometimes 7 catches for a $180 too, but it's not. There aren't a lot of 2 for 10 yards on there.
But Harbaugh, even though he does have this reputation of being a quarterback whisperer, and he has plenty of NFL experience. Went to a Super Bowl against his brother with Colin Kaepernick as his quarterback. He has a lot of experience in the NFL and doing right by quarterbacks and getting the most out of them. But his days in Michigan towards the end, and I know J.J. McCarthy went high, it was about the running game. It was about controlling the ball. Is he going to try to do that? They have accumulated quite a bit of running back talent there. Austin Eckler is no longer there. Is he going to try to control the NFL game with one of these premier quarterbacks that everyone would love to watch let it fly? Is he going to try to do this with a running game?
Dan, I know you put a lot of weight in this, so I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Justin Herbert dropped 43 spots in this year's NFL Top 100. He's down to 75 now.
Wow.
Mike Williams had a game of 2 catches, 10 yards. Last season, he had a game of 1 catch, 15 yards.
Might have gotten hurt in those.
2 catches,
He was a
17
jet.
yards. 1 catch, 15 yards. 4 catches, 32 yards. So, bit of a feast or famine kind of guy.
So he did it 5 times last
Yeah.
season. Put up one of those turd games.
But then he has like a 10 for 134,
Yeah.
7 for 120, 8 for 113 and a tutty.
Hard in the game log to find out if he left midway through the second quarter.
Yeah, they don't have that asterisk.